Back to the Better Days Ray podcast. I'm your host, Sean Daniel. In the studio with me today is my wife, Sammy Kay.
Hello, guys.
And so today we're going to discuss like decisions, right?
Yes.
Like a lot of times in our addiction, we make a lot of bad decisions and what causes those bad decisions. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about how to make more positive decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And really kind of like some of like how indecision can really cause a lot of problems as well, and actually promotes bad decisions.
True.
Right. And I feel that's kind of like the case in more scenarios than not.
Mm-hmm.
Just thinking back in my own recovery, I was just, do I want to get sober? Do I not want to get sober?
Oh, yeah.
Do I want to get sober? But then I start really thinking about it, probably overthinking it and going, well, then I got to do this. Nah, I'm not really sure I want to do that. So then I just kind of toss it up in the air, right? And when I toss it up in the air, 9 times out of 10, I abandon it.
Right.
Right? Because then I'm just like, screw it. You know, I haven't made a decision. I'm not going to make a decision.
Well, I kind of freeze.
Yeah, you freeze. You feel,
I start overthinking because I'm an overthinker.
and a lot of us getting that stuck mentality, like, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that starts like when we're real young.
Oh, yes.
Right? So like my dad, he'd always ask me stuff. You know, Sean, blah, blah, blah. Sean, did you do this? Sean, what'd you say? You know what I'm saying? Like he'd always ask me things. And my classic response was, I don't know.
I don't
know. And I used to drive him insane.
My dad would say, what were the exact words you used? Or what were the exact words they said to you?
Right. Well,
and I'm like, I
yeah,
don't know.
you know, but I guess it's habit forming.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because once you start practicing indecision, making decisions later on in life gets really hard.
Yes.
Right?
Because the decisions are tougher and tougher.
Not even that, right? So like, we'll just take it to how it looks in our home. Like, how does indecision look at home?
Oh boy.
So have you ever just like, you know, been hanging out with the wife, you're sitting on the couch and you grab the remote and you say, hey babe, find something you want to watch.
So I grab the remote and I pass it right over to him.
Yeah, she says, well, whatever you want to watch, babe.
Same thing with eating.
Or same way with eating. Hey babe, I want to take you out to dinner. Where would you like to go eat? I don't know, what you hungry
Wherever
for.
you want to go. I'm not the picky one.
But really, it's a habit that you formed.
Yes.
Right? Of indecision.
Yes, it is. Most definitely. Because I think, oh, well, let me think of the other person because I'm really not a picky eater. So, and I know you are, ish. And so I'm thinking, oh, well, let me cater to you rather than thinking of what I really would like to have.
So you're really just overthinking it.
Either overthinking it or underthinking it.
So let's so that was a very like laid back scenario. So let's bring up the heat a little bit, right? What about going back to school?
For me?
Either one of them. Like, let's just put it in perspective, right? So going back to school.
For me, no.
Oh, that's a decision.
It's a decision. It will not happen. Now, I might do some training or some educational classes, but at my age, going full on back to college, no. I tried it. I didn't like it. It's real hard to work a full-time job that's very demanding and take classes. It's been 20 years, Sean, since I've been in college, right? So, like, no.
Sounds like a whole lot of indecision there.
Oh, do you hear him telling me I'm indecisive? And I am. Dadgummit.
Right. Well, so the point is, when we get real indecisive about things, that's when a lot of that negative self-talk comes in.
It does. I start second guessing myself.
You will start literally talking yourself out of it before you ever even start it.
And then I'll get so overwhelmed that I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I'm just shutting it all down. Just shut down.
Right.
Boom.
And nothing is done.
End of discussion.
So now we step into complacency.
Yes. 100%.
So, well, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like being non-decisive promotes bad decisions.
It can. It either promotes bad decision, let's say
poor
poor.
decisions.
I like the word poor better than
poor
bad.
decisions and poor behaviors.
Poor decisions, poor behaviors, or stagnant. Stagnant, is that the right word?
Right. Yeah, stagnant.
Being stagnant.
Being stagnant.
Just
Correct.
doing nothing.
And
Like
nothing at all.
absolutely nothing. And sometimes I think that's worse than making poor decisions. When you're
Well-
just sitting there and doing nothing. Like,
Well, I think a poor decision you can learn from.
absolutely, it's a lesson.
An undecided decision, what do you do with that?
Nothing.
You don't do, like, there's nothing to do with
No,
something
there's
that's
no
undecided.
movement. There's not sideways, forward, backwards, nothing. You're just sitting there.
You know, so I think even that could be considered even worse than a poor decision,
I agree.
right? Now, granted, we've all made some pretty poor decisions. If, you know, whether in life, a lot of us in addiction have made some very poor decisions
Yes.
in life. But I've always looked at those poor decisions and used those as benchmarks.
Yes, stepping
Right.
stones.
Stepping
I call them stepping
stones.
stones.
You know what I'm saying? I don't really look at it as failures when I learn something from it.
I used to really look at it in a negative context and think that I was just such a loser and such a failure at everything. But today, no, I look at them as stepping stones because I can learn from it. I can break it down on like, okay, here's where I went wrong. And then I can let it go. And I don't have to make that same thing again, you know?
Right.
And so absolutely benchmarks are stepping stones for me today.
So I think one of the things people get hung up on is some people's decisions to come into recovery, and we choose this abstinent route,
Right.
which is your typical AA, NA, CR
Mhm.
support groups,
Mm-hmm.
which are heavily reliant on a spiritual influence, right, and pure abstinence,
Yes, pure abstinence,
right. And we've kind of adopted this
fellowship.
multi-pathway approach,
Yes,
right?
and I love it.
And it just promotes. I don't care how you get sober, just get sober,
Right.
right? And I've seen people do this a number of different ways. But what I have seen some people do that others find hard with is some people use the taper off method,
Yes.
right? Where it's I'm not ready to quit. I want to quit, but I'm not ready to quit.
Right.
I don't know how to commit to what that sobriety looks like,
Right.
but I want to start moving in a direction.
Right. I'm willing to start a little bit.
Yeah, I'm willing to dabble in that.
And there that catches a lot of blowback
It
because
does.
on the what I'm going to call the AA side, it's all or nothing. But in multi-pathway, like I can completely see how, because it's an individual basis.
Mhm.
It's literally maybe that person can taper off and then get rid of it completely. Maybe they're not hardcore, full blown, but
Well, I think you see a lot of that with like prescriptions.
yes,
That,
Well, and that's the-
doctors will taper you off,
yes,
psychiatrists will taper you off.
yes.
So it's not like this new thing that's happening. I mean, people have been tapering off of drugs for a very long time,
right.
right?
I was on
Um,
benzos one time, and I absolutely tapered myself off and cut back. Took me a month to get it done, but I sure did, and I won't pick that up again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we talk about tapering off, I think it's very important to have outside accountability in something like
100%.
that, right? So whereas when we go abstinent, it's kind of a lot of self accountability,
Mm-hmm.
right? When we're tapering off, like I and I would be honest about that. I would probably need more supervision
Tapering off.
tapering off than I would just cold turkey quitting.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I would need help managing that.
Well, for
Well,
many
I was a
reasons.
hardcore addict though too as well.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I think of tapering off, that might not be tapering off to other people. They're like, dude, you're just getting high. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
Well, if we go back to the medicine concept, right? Like we have to see how, because when you've been taking a medicine for so long, and then you can't, some of those you can't quit cold turkey. Like it will do worse to you and your health to quit cold turkey than it would to taper off of it. So if we keep that kind of concept, you've got to be monitored by the doctor. You kind of you learn yourself, and you become self-aware of like, okay, I'm not feeling so good,
right.
you know? And so it kind of gives you a little bit of independence, but at the same time being monitored.
yeah, I know there's going to be a ton of people to argue with me about this, but I think when it comes to that taper off method, right? I think that's where harm reduction becomes super important,
Absolutely.
right? And there will be people that will argue and say harm reduction has nothing to do with recovery. And like I will argue that point
I will argue
until
that
I'm
point.
blue in the face. Like harm reduction is absolutely a part of recovery.
Yes, it is. And it is a
100%.
necessity.
It just depends on what type of recovery you're trying to do.
Exactly.
Right? When we're talking about tapering off, there's still absolutely the possibility of a relapse,
Absolutely.
relapses and overdoses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just let's just call it bad things happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? So harm reduction techniques are very important to those times. Do people need to know about Narcan,
Yes.
right? And naloxone and things. You know, we talk about Suboxone, methadone. You know, some of these alternates to the hardcore drugs.
So what they call that Suboxone and different things like that is that is a medicine administered. It's called MAP program, basically.
Okay.
So you're taking medications to help you stay off certain drugs.
Like medically assisted.
Medically assisted.
Right.
Thank you.
Got you.
So, and there are people who poo-poo that idea as well, because they feel like you shouldn't be putting anything in your body that's going to alter anything. Well, I got news for you people. I have depression and I can get way crazy. So there are some things there's some medication that I take, and this is why I love the multi-pathway, because I feel like I know what works for me. I know what works for my body. And when my mental is not okay, I am that close to relapsing. My mental has to be okay. So therefore, I have to do those things and take those medications to help me with that.
Now, do you think that puts you at a higher risk with your alcohol
Mental?
addiction?
The mental health or with the medications?
Medications.
But there's a possibility that it could, but I know that I feel more on an even keel.
I guess what I'm asking is, when you're on the medication, do you feel like using more?
No.
Or using less?
Less.
Way less?
Way less. Way less. I'm happier. I sleep better. Especially I'm in that stage of life for women where my hormones, if my hormones are out of balance, that's when you really see the crazy and the hot flashes and all the things. And so, but when my hormones are good and my mental state is good and my sleep is good, I do so well, so very well. But when all of that is kind of out of whack,
yeah.
Oh, you better believe that alcohol or drugs are right there in the background going, "Whoo, I'll help you. I'll help you." It's a real thing.
So what about, so we me and you, we've had a lot of conversations about CBT therapy.
Yes.
Right.
Sean.
Like I think CBT therapy is a beautiful thing. It's a science-based recovery.
It is.
That it's about, it kind of rewires the signals we send to ourselves, right? Kind of like through the affirmations.
Yes.
That we talk to ourselves about. And this worked particularly well for me.
It did me too. And what CBT is it's cognitive behavioral therapy. And you use different types of methods within this to kind of, what would you say, be self-accountable in a way to help you, like you were saying, rewire, flip the switch from negative to positive.
Right.
From, instead of saying, I need a drink, you would teach yourself to say, that's my addiction is telling me I need a drink, or that my habits from my past are telling me that I need a drink. It's not that I really need a drink. I think it really falls into line too is what we as human beings identify with.
Yes. So for me, when I was going to AA, and it was crazy, but like it was just kind of weird because I never felt comfortable identifying as an addict.
Yes, I don't
right?
either.
And some people doesn't bother them, right? Like I can tell you, like I deeply hated the person I was as an addict. And that pushed my addiction to doing some really bad things out in the world. Like I hated the person I was. And so when I would go into rooms and I would talk about being an addict, like I could not attach a positive emotion to that.
I couldn't either. And
I
I didn't
really
realize how big a difference it made for me not to identify as an alcoholic addict until you and I started having those conversations.
Well, I sat down with a mentor of mine, and I had a stretch of sobriety, and he just looked at me. He said, "I need to ask you an honest question." And he asked me how much sobriety time I told him, and he goes, "Let me ask you something. Do you feel like an addict anymore?" And I said, honestly, no. He said, "Well, then stop calling yourself one.
Because it's
Just simply stop calling yourself one."
And it's fine for some people.
And it was weird because, you get all these rooms that people are telling you, like, you have to do this. You have to be honest. You have to identify as an addict. You have to do this because it's all about being honest and transparent and everything else. But when he said that, I just sat there and I was
bet
like,
it was like a relief.
Bro, I was like, he's kind of right.
He
right?
is. And then we started having the conversations, and I felt so much better about myself when I didn't call myself.
And I'm not saying this was the reason
addict.
I haven't relapsed since.
Right.
But ever since I quit doing that, I haven't relapsed. Like, it's just.
I feel better about myself. I'm at the point now when I go to an AA meeting or something, like I feel awkward when I say, well, my name is Sammy, and I've been in recovery since 2019. Because I know they're wanting to hear I'm an addict, alcoholic. But for me, that puts a negative thought in my head about myself. And then literally, I think the more positive you can be about yourself and about your recovery, the better your recovery will go.
Right. And that's where that CBT comes in.
Absolutely.
The CBT just takes all that negative self-talk and we throw some positive affirmations in there. And when you start practicing those positive affirmations, which you've seen me do that over the course of the last 2 years, right? Where I've taken some of those things where I thought really bad about myself, and I just started moving in a different direction. And as I was trying to talk myself out of those things, I was reaffirming myself that I was making the right choices.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's hard sometimes because
super hard.
It's like we have a half a lifetime of doing things a certain way,
very
right?
bad choices.
And usually it's negative and poor choices, poor behaviors, blah, blah, blah.
And usually there's a lot of pain attached to that.
Yes. So that turn to be more positive and see things in a different light and open up your mind and kind of have a broader understanding of people like us or others. I think I just lost what I was trying to say.
We'll keep going.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of what it was I was trying to say. It takes a long time to switch from the negative to the positive.
Absolutely.
Because we're so used to running in that negative mindset.
Well, and I think that a lot of people come into recovery and they think it's just about your mind.
Yeah.
Right. I have to sit here and I have to learn a bunch of stuff. And so I had this chat. So it was kind of funny, right? Because I was at a meeting earlier today and one of the guys in the meeting says, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of looked at him for a second and he looked at me and he goes, I know you're going to say something, Sean. Like, what do you guys say? I said, knowledge isn't power.
Mm-mm.
Right? Because I could be the Albert Einstein of my generation. I can have all the knowledge in the world. But if I don't use it, it's a
key.
Waste.
That's right.
It's an absolute waste.
That's right.
It becomes a plethora of useless knowledge, right? So it's not knowledge is power, it's application of knowledge is power.
And another reason I feel like that cognitive behavior therapy is so extremely important, because I've heard old timers or people who've been sober tell a newcomer, just don't drink between meetings, right? Well, you're alone. You're alone between meetings. You're not with a group because the meeting's over. So then here you go back into your own head, right? And so if people were able to practice those cognitive behavioral therapies and switch that mindset, they might actually do better.
Well, I think generally people, they only know the route they took, right? So and
you're right about that.
They only know what recovery looks like to them through their process.
True. Very true.
Right. So there was one of the things when I started doing the podcast, or when, we created the podcast, I sat down and I said, do I want people to learn recovery the way I had to learn it? that was hard.
It was very
Like that
hard.
was hard. That was rough. It hurt. There was a lot of bumps. There was just a lot there, right? There was some misguidance.
Yes.
There was a whole bunch of noise, people trying to tell me what to do. So I'd made up the decision, like, I don't want people to have to do recovery the way I did it. Is there some easier ways? Or is there ways I can bring more clarity?
Right.
Is there ways that are more suitable for people, right?
Right.
Than just the basic what's there in front of us. And what I've really learned is this is not recovery is not something that you treat everybody the same.
No, it's
Like,
an individual
We're uniquely
basis.
built. And in that uniqueness, we're all facing different traumas,
Absolutely.
different, past events that have happened, broken relationships, mental health issues, so we're all facing these different things. So it really doesn't make sense that there's a one solution to fix everything. Like,
Yeah, there's
you really got to get down to root
okay.
causes.
So here, let me put it to you like
You
this:
got to get down to root causes.
you and I, we mesh well together.
No.
But you are not exactly like me.
No.
And I am not exactly like you.
Oh, what you trying to say?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And so, why would a one-stop shop program that was done exactly the same way, all the same time, work for people who are not the same?
Well, I think that was just from the time it was invented.
You're right. And it's a
1935,
good program. And it was a great idea. It was a great idea and it worked then. But times have changed.
But let's be real, it still works now.
It does still work. It does. But
Still works now
I
for a lot of
have
people.
learned that I need more
Right.
than just that.
Right.
I don't want to do just the one because I have other
It's about
issues.
edification.
It is. And
It's
the
about
more
edification.
you grow, the more, like, I just feel like the more I can bring in, the stronger my recovery can be.
Right.
And if I'm narrow-minded and I'm only thinking one particular way and tunnel vision, what if I miss something that could possibly help someone else along the way?
Right.
So to me, a wider view, and the more I can take in, the more I can learn that works for me, might actually work for somebody else. And I don't know that it has to be just a streamlined one way only.
Well, and I think a lot of the friction that we get in recovery, right, is because people naturally attach recovery to drug addiction.
Yes, but
Right.
there's,
Like, recovery is not about drug addiction.
it's not.
It's not. We hyper focus it towards drug addiction
Yeah.
because those are the obvious problems,
Right.
right? Those are the most things people are aware of in the streets.
Right.
Those are the people who are obviously in trouble. So we hyper focus it to drug abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But like, recovery is simply sitting down and saying, I've got a problem. I don't know how to fix it. I need help.
That's right.
Like that. If you,
It could be over eating. It can be over sex. It can be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be just burning your life to the ground. Or just being complacent.
Or just being a bad human.
Yeah. Just a real turd bucket.
And the thing I like about working with people and helping people who are suffering from drug addictions,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what I really love about it, is because the ones who really want help, right, they will sit down and say, look, man, I am broken.
Yeah.
I am broken. I need help.
Yeah.
Right? And those are the people who like life is bottoming out and I need some freaking help. Like, they're willing to admit it.
Right.
Right? It's like I love working with people who will admit they're broken. If you don't admit you're broken, you will never seek help.
Mm-hmm.
And so the things that are holding you back, the problems in your life, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever success you're not achieving that you want to achieve, you know what I'm saying? Maybe the relationships in your family's not good.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's conflict in the streets amongst your community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But until you admit you're broken, and the things that you're doing in life are not working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
It never gets fixed.
It doesn't ever get fixed.
And that's one of the hard things I have working in the community, right? Because I've taken my same level of personal responsibility into my community through my service work. And I've gotten with some programs that say we want change, but are not willing to sit there and say we're broken. Like they're just not. Like they won't do it. So what happens?
No,
is
it's all. The fingers are being pointed.
Well, we just repeat cycles.
Yeah,
it just repeats a cycle over and over and over.
We want to make a change, but we're going to keep doing exactly what we've been doing and repeating the insanity cycle all over again. But we need a change.
We need a change.
But we're not going to change anything.
But we legitimately don't know what that change looks like because very few people in the world today take personal responsibility.
Yeah. They'd rather blame somebody else.
Well, they either blame somebody else or the first thing they do is scream to help to their local governments.
Ooh.
Or state governments or national governments. And whereas I'm not that person, right? Because I see how the trend goes.
Right.
Right. And a friend of mine once told me, politics care about you. And boy, I thought for the longest time, I was like, man, that's the biggest load of I ever heard in my life. Right. Because they do not care. And then, I was sitting at home a couple weeks ago and I was like, you know what? I figured it out. You know, is that politics do care. Why? Because when we go cry for help, what do?
They make a law.
They make a law. And then they start enforcing that law. And now,
and it takes away more and more and more of our rights
and
our abilities.
More of our freedom.
Yes,
snatches
to make
more
decisions
of our
on our own, and that is not.
And so, when
healthy.
President Trump was running for president, he had made the speech that Americans do not want freedom; they want safety, and they want to be controlled and told what to do. And I remember when he said it, it made me so mad because I was like, "That is absolutely not what I want. Like that is not what I want in the least bit." But he was telling the absolute truth.
He was, because majority of people, that's what
because they don't. So to me, it's like, before you go scream for help, what is your role to play in this, right? And how can you do your part to fix it?
That's right.
And that's what recovery is.
And that's just being accountable within yourself. Okay, so if I'm being a lousy person, what can I do? Just like we talked about just a little bit ago. With what I was talking about with personal, what can I do to make that change?
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, people don't want to look inside themselves.
Well, they just don't want to take action.
They want to look out.
They look at it and they
talk about it.
They look at it. They don't like it. And let's be real. We all know in the back of our mind what it's going to take to fix it. And when we think about what that journey looks like, we're like,
oh, no.
Nope.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to work that hard.
I can sit here and tell you, like, in the past, 6 months, I probably put on a good 40 pounds.
Yes.
Right?
I think he looks handsome.
Probably, and let's say the last 6 months. And I've been talking about going back to the gym now. You know what's been stopping me?
What?
Because I know it took me 6 months to put this 40-pound on, but it's going to take me 2 years to get it off. In reality, like, let's just keep it real.
Is that really what's stopping you, Sean Michael Daniel?
I'm trying to tell you, it's the work. The work.
Well, what is it that you tell me all the time?
But
faith
it's the same
without
way.
works is
It's
dead.
The work. Yeah.
But I'm willing to do it with you.
But it's tough. You say that.
I set the alarms.
But do you get up? Yeah. So
I'm waiting for you to tell me, let's get up.
Oh, so now we're back in indecision. Here we go.
Not taking
now we're
accountability.
arguing on live camera.
Yeah, that's true.
No, seriously, it's always the work that stops us.
It is.
We have great thoughts.
It's work to get
we
woke
have great ambitions, but to make a decision to move forward in those ambitions and in that work is very tough, and we almost always find a way to talk ourselves out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? On a daily basis, whether it's something major, something minor.
But just think of the rewards if we didn't starve ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I know I need it as much as anybody.
Imagine the rewards if you didn't have a limited belief system.
Oh, baby.
Let's just talk about that, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of us have limits to how much faith we have and how much belief we have,
Yes.
right?
And how much we're willing to put out there.
And how much you're willing to put out there and what you're willing to risk.
Oh, yes.
So, no, that's the truth
I
of it,
thought you
right?
might be talking to me specifically because I'm not great at taking risks.
Oh, no. So, like, we had this conversation the other day. I'm like, babe, I need you to help me come up with something so we can start a home business. Like, that's always been my dreams, to start my own business, run my own business, have my own business. What happened?
I immediately
Panicked. Instantly
Because you
panicked.
have to find a business that is in demand, for one. Because if you're going to put in a business that everybody has.
I get it. Overthinking it.
I'm overthinking it.
So, well, but here's the thing, right? We are limited in our belief system. So when I said that to you, I watched you go left instantly.
I did. I took
Instantly.
Pew!
She
I
was
was
like,
gone.
nope, you go get a 9 to 5. You're going to do that 9 to 5 and you're going to be happy.
How about you go get this job? And you're going to love it.
But it's the people who rock with faith
Yes.
and that not having a limited belief system, knowing that God's going to work it out in the end.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like somehow, like all you have to do is start it.
That's right.
You have to start it. And that's how recovery is, right?
Yes. Just get it started.
And this is what a lot of people don't want to do. They feel like they have to go into recovery with something. They have to go into recovery with some sort of security, some sort of safety net. You know what I'm saying?
You just gotta start.
Something. But all you really got to do is just put your
And
foot
I'm
out
just
there.
going to put this out there, people. Like, I was not a one and done person when I came into recovery. Okay. I came in, I fell off the wagon. I got back on the wagon. I fell off the wagon many times. But every time I did, I learned something new. And so it may have taken me longer to get to where I am today. But if I hadn't even started, I would still be the same person I was in 2019. And what a crack mess that was.
So, I mean, even think about that. Think about your life back from 2019 to what it is now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you something. Why do you still have a limited belief? Just think about how much your life has changed since 2019. 7 years? 7 years? So
Yeah.
7 years ago, think back
Yeah.
where you were then to where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you still carry a limited belief? Because as hard as it's been, and the things that we've overcome, the challenges, the sobriety, the addiction, like all the things
I
that
honestly
God
can't answer that
put
question.
a blessing on your life in, put a blessing in our lives in. Why is it still so hard to believe?
Are you asking why I still have a limited belief in my God?
In your ability,
In my ability.
in God's ability? Because
God, I don't have a limited belief in God's ability. That one I don't. But in my own ability, I do.
So let me ask you something.
What?
Do you believe the Holy Spirit's within you?
Absolutely.
So do you think that with even having a speck of God's greatness inside you, that you can't do some of the most awesome, wonderful, powerful miracles in the world?
I'm getting preached at, y'all.
No, you've seen it. Because you've seen it happen.
I know.
You've
You're
literally
right.
seen it happen.
I don't want to tell him he's right, but he's absolutely right.
If you
You're
got
right.
even a speck, like a grain of
Well,
sand,
it says it in the Bible.
of God within
If
you.
you have the faith of a mustard seed,
Man,
you
I'm trying
can
to tell you.
move mountains. And that is the absolute truth. Why do I doubt myself sometimes? Man, you're making me have to think.
but it's
But it's
so
the
true,
truth. It is.
right? And a lot of people they don't believe in prosperity gospel,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's not that because prosperity gospel is false. It's because they don't want to do the work.
Oh, you're telling me.
They don't want to do the work to be prosperous.
Ugh.
It just depends on how you look at it.
You're
and
making
how
me
it's
have to
preached.
take a big look at myself, Sean.
You know what I'm saying? Do you think God put you here to do something great? I think he put me here to do something great.
I do. I think he has a plan for me that I think I've been in the way too long.
You know,
I
I've
keep
sat
getting in the
there,
way.
I bounced back from having my leg ripped off, 25 years of drug addiction, a life sentence in prison. Like, I've walked away for some things I absolutely should not. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been shot at, overdoses. Like, you know, like we're not even going to go there. But like, for real, why did God save me? And I really had to start asking
'Cause
myself
he had
that
something
question
in mind for you.
because He's got something
Great
in
things. That's right.
mind. And all I got to do is have faith in that.
That's right.
That greatness that I feel that God had put me in here, and I rock with that faith. Commit to that faith.
I see. I need to do a little more work in that area on myself.
So a lot of times when people say they have faith in God, but they have zero faith in themselves, I always challenge that thought. How much faith do you have in God really? Because God had a plan for you, and it wasn't for you to have doubt and misery and all these bad things and think bad of yourself. Like, that's not what He put you here for. That's what you're doing for yourself, but that's not why He put you where you're at. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we start blessing blocking.
We do. I'm world's worst sometimes.
We block ourselves from blessings. And this is one of the things, and I've tried, and AA does not like it when I bring this up. But because they always want to stay in the past. They always want to talk about past traumas, all these things in the past. Now, I absolutely feel like you should absolutely resolve issues in your life that you're having some trouble with, right? Maybe it's
then
trauma.
You've got to work through it and let it go.
But here's the thing: when I do it, and I figure out the answer to it, I got to just put it away. That doesn't mean next time I do my 4-step, we're going to talk about it again. Like, we're not going to keep rehashing this over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And I feel that's kind of like how it tends to lay out more often than not.
I don't know that the program itself meant for it to be that way. I think people have twisted it that way. Absolutely. Because I'm pretty sure when they first started that, it was to bring it up,
attach a positive emotion to it, and let it go,
and own your part of it, and then bye.
Yeah.
Now how can we change all this?
Right.
How can we become a better person?
But
people have twisted it. They have just held on to it for dear life and beat themselves. I've been one of those people.
So what happens if you hold on to something for longer than 30 days? What happens if you do something every day for 30 days? What is that called?
That is a habit.
It's a habit. It's habit forming.
You could even say 21 days. They say if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a new habit.
So if I'm stuck in my past for X amount of years, it's habit forming.
It is very
I'm habit forming.
So that change, that decision to make those changes, yes, it is. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. But if you keep doing it.
So let's not even talk about years ago. Let's talk about yesterday, right? If something good happened yesterday and I'm focused on it today, what does that turn into? What emotion comes behind that?
Joy. Confidence, pride,
arrogance.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all the success I had yesterday. I'm boasting in it.
Boasting and bragging.
There you go.
That's just as bad.
So what if something bad happened yesterday and I'm holding on to it?
Well, that's self-loathing.
Depression, anxiety, right? So no matter whether it was something good or something bad, right? I'm turning it into something that I'm actually kind of worshiping, right? It's almost a type of worship,
and that can be bad. That could be harmful.
So we're talking
either way.
about it when we're talking about addictions, right? Sometimes we get addicted to that mindset, and when we get in that mindset, our past traumas, our past success, our past failures, whatever it may be,
we just put that over our shoulder and just keep carrying it.
Makes me completely ignorant to what God has put in front of me today.
It's true.
Because I'm not focused on it. So when we talk about, people waiting for opportunities, if I'm focused on what happened yesterday in any form or fashion,
whether it be good or bad, positive or negative,
I'm not perceptive to what God's about to make happen in my life.
100%.
And so if I'm not perceptive to it, what happens is the opportunity comes.
And then it goes.
And then it just keeps on going.
And I
never saw it. I never saw it, never looked at it, And so in a way, we block our own blessings.
We do.
And by putting ourselves first. So focusing on the past really don't do any good. And we've seen that through friends of ours in grief groups.
Yes.
Who have just held on to some traumas that they just cannot let go of. And Whereas I'm empathetic to it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I see it and I feel terrible,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm like, bro, I can't do
I
that.
couldn't live like that.
I can't do that. Like, I just can't
It would
do
tear
that.
me up. Tear me up. What a. Mm-mm.
You know, so
Mm-mm.
so today, focusing on the past, you learn something from it and you just move on.
Got to.
You just move on and you keep going. It ain't a badge of shame. It ain't no guilt.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
It's a learning lesson.
today, I really do not let people drag me back.
No,
Like, and
I don't anymore.
and
I
I'm
used
firm
to
about
real
that.
bad.
Like,
I have a tendency sometimes, in not even other people, myself. Just like today,
yeah,
when I started second guessing myself,
yeah,
that's old habit.
yeah.
And it was like second guessing, like maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you pointed that out to me, and I don't want to live like that anymore.
Right.
So I'm going to come back with that confidence.
You gotta come back with that confidence.
I'm going to come back with it.
And it's always hard to do at first.
Yes, it is.
At first, you know,
Mhm.
I was talking with some people. We were talking about speaking and public speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it was really some people giving me some compliments on the way I speak, and I was like, well, why don't you get up there and do it? And they were like, I don't know about that. I said, why? It's only scary the first, dozen times.
Right.
You know, after that, it just, something becomes natural. But like at first, growth always feels uncomfortable.
Yes, it does.
It always feels uncomfortable
Yes, it does.
because it's something I don't know
Well, it's
or I've never done.
Right. We're in a new territory.
Yeah, new territory, but that's really what recovery is all about: doing something you've never done before,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just seeing where it goes.
Right. And it doesn't hurt anything to try.
It doesn't hurt anything to try.
Doesn't hurt anything to try. Like, it's not going to harm you. Might help you.
My help, you learn something.
Learn
Like I
a little
said,
something.
So indecision, if I don't make a choice to do it, or if stay stuck in indecision,
Right.
that's really where I take all the loss.
True.
If I make a poor decision, at least I can learn from that one.
Yes. And if
Right.
if I make a positive decision or a good decision, well, that's even better. I've learned even more.
Right. It was like, what is that? Is it Pastel, I think, was the philosopher? Pastel's wager? No.
Pascal.
Pascal's wager. He says, so he's wagering on faith
Mm-hmm.
in God. He said, if you do not believe in God and he does not exist, right,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't lose nothing, you don't gain nothing, but you will die.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't believe in God and he does exist, eternal damnation, hellfire,
Mm-hmm.
all the things, right? If you do believe in God and he doesn't exist,
Not going to hurt
then
you.
you live a good, virtuous life,
And then you
right?
die.
With healthy connections, successful, and you really don't lose nothing at the end of the day,
Right.
right? But if you believe in God and he does exist,
Mm.
heaven,
Mm-hmm.
eternity,
Right.
we talk about infinite life.
Right.
So it really, you can't go wrong with God, no matter how you slice it.
No, not
No matter how
really.
you slice it with God, like you get nothing but a win out of that.
It doesn't hurt to just try.
But if you take that same concept of faith and put it in yourself, like I've and there's times I have doubt, but it's like I always use my doubt as a benchmark today.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really use my doubt as something to tear myself down with,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I can always feel it coming on. I'm like, and I'll catch myself like, dude, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've seen what God's done for you in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you even doubting what you're doing right now? Like, stop
I'm
it.
getting better at catching
Stop
it.
it.
That's why when I got in the car today, I was like, okay, so here's what I did. I almost did this. And you were like, what? I'm able to catch it today,
Yeah.
and try to at least talk about it to stop it
Yeah.
and to flip the script on it.
They're like one of those things my dad, he told me, he was like, whenever I make a mistake, he said, I've trained my brain to think every time I make a mistake that Jesus took a whipping for me for that.
I remember him saying that.
Jesus took a lashing for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he started acting better,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I tend to still at times have that lack of faith, but I can always go back to pivotal points in my life where I'm like, bro, why?
Yeah.
Why do I even doubt it at all?
Yeah.
Like the things that have already happened.
Man, this last bit, flat out miracle.
Yeah.
Flat
absolutely.
out miracle. You and I should never, ever doubt again.
You know, I watched a conversation the other day where two people sat there. They were talking about miracles, and one person was talking about miracles don't exist and da 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 da. You know, like God doesn't create miracles anymore, like he did in the Bible, right? And the guy across the table from me said, "Well, when was the last time you tried to be a miracle? Or when was the last time you tried to create a miracle?" You know what I mean? Because God always created his miracles through somebody.
Right.
He always put it through somebody. But those are people with super devout faith.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those were people who believed.
His shepherds.
You know? So when we talk about creating miracles, there's absolutely people out there that create miracles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But we're just not perceptive to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's so much negative talk about each other. You know, and that's one of the things that like I just can't get on board with.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like today I get on Facebook or YouTube and like I post, but like I'm not looking. I just don't get on it.
I scroll.
I really don't
And
get on
I'll
it no more.
very rarely do I comment on anything
I'm
anymore.
just so tired of everybody crashing everybody out.
It's just
Like and
all
it's
the
just
time.
like why, bro?
Why are we not lifting each other up and praising and each other and like I don't know. But that's a whole nother topic.
It was what was the thing I read? It said better start worrying about you because when you go to heaven, God's not going to be asking you about my sins.
No, he's not going to ask me about
You know
yours.
what I'm saying?
And he's
Like,
not going to ask you about mine.
you
He
know
is
what I'm
going
saying?
to straight up look at me and he's going to talk to me about mine.
You know, and we do all this talking about people. You know, I did some research on it. There are 41 places in the Bible where the Bible warns us about speaking against other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you really start thinking about it, like there's 41 places. I'm talking Old Testament all the way through Proverbs, New Testament. There's 41 places where the Bible warns you about speaking out against others.
Yeah, there's one that I can think of specifically that says, don't worry about the speck in your brother's eye until you take the plank out of your own eye.
Right.
Something to that effect. That's not, yeah, it's not, I didn't say it exactly as it said, but that's the context of it.
It talks about it a lot in Proverbs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I believe it because some of these things that we talk about, and I get why, like, especially when the message gets misconstrued, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what someone is trying to say and what people are hearing.
Oh, okay. So
you know what I'm saying?
You can try and communicate a message, but how the other person receives that message and interprets it,
Correct.
You have no control over.
Right. So we were part of an event last week where I watched somebody spit a message and it really upset me.
I remember.
Right. But I had to think about it. I'm like, okay, why did this person say it? And when that person said it, I could actually, okay, that is a pure thought. Like I get that. That is pure. Has good intent. You know, everything behind that message that he said was meant for good, right? But it's like owning a business, right? And then hiring a manager, and then having a sales clerk, and then having a desk, you know, a cashier, and then having a golf course, right? So what happens is purity, when something pure gets tainted
Mm-hmm.
as it's spread out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So the message that gets sent
Mm-hmm.
isn't always the message that gets delivered.
True. Very true.
You know?
Have you ever seen those on TikTok or whatever where they whisper a secret in one person's ear, and then that person whispers supposed to whisper the secret in somebody else's, and then and by the time it gets down to the bottom, the last person's supposed to say what the secret was, and it's never what they started with.
Never was
ever. It's never exactly the right message.
So because it's just so true. And but when we start saying something, okay, you have to put motive. And that's what we're really big on is motive and intent. So if I say something about somebody, right, and I may say that with the purest intentions, but is that person going to say it with the purest intentions? And is the person they're going to say it to?
We have no idea.
You know, so some of the times we say something and really mean good, but because other people start tainting that message, it turns into some sort of hate speech, you know, but then we don't hold ourselves accountable to it.
True.
Right? Because it's like, that's not what I said. But we still have a responsibility for the message we do put out.
That's right. That's right. So in closing, what would you say to the people?
Man, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, and definitely don't get yourself stuck in a spot to where you're scared to make a choice. Right? Any choice is better than not making a choice.
Right.
But I'd say make a choice and then commit to it fully, wholeheartedly. Get 10 toes in on it, and have a grip of faith on yourself. Know that you're going to go through some struggles. Know that it's not going to happen overnight. Know that you're going to have to put a lot of work into it. But if you stay faithful to it, at some point, you're going to be happy where you end up.
That's right.
Doesn't always mean you'll get where you want to be. But if you put hard work in, you'll be happy where you get. Happier than you are when you started.
That's right.
What about you?
I would say, let's see. What works for you may not be what works for somebody else. And what other people do may not be what works for you. But not doing anything is just, well, it just keeps you in the same problem. So if you have to start out a certain way, just don't give up, you know, and as you grow, you can bring in other things that you find that bring you joy, that helps keep you sober or clean, whatever. So I like the multi pathway. So if that would work for you, I think that would be great. And if it isn't, if you're one of those that needs that hardcore one line way, good for you. And I hope that works for you. Just don't quit. Just don't quit.
All right, man. With that being said, we're out.